like to sleep much when he's not on the air 6 days a week covering this crazy news cycle. He's been busy writing a new political thriller, The Hellfire Club, about corruption, blackmail, and the Washington swamp. Sound familiar? Please welcome Jake Tapper. Nice to see you.
Can I just say, I've known this one since she was 12.
12?
I mean,
wow.
Okay, so
what she's become is pretty amazing.
Okay, yeah. So what thank you. What I was going to say, but I didn't know if it was okay, is I knew you when you were a salon reporter that all my dad's female staff had a crush on, and he had much longer hair.
Much longer hair and much heavier. Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to see you. Okay, so this morning, President Trump ramped up his war on the media. He tweeted, the fake news is working overtime, just reported that despite the tremendous success we are having with the economy and all things else, 91% of the network news about me is negative, fake. Why do we work so hard in working with the media when it is corrupt? Take away credentials, question mark. So is that directed at you?
Well, it's directed at everybody in the media, including people here at this table. First of all, it's very interesting. He defined fake news. Negative. Look, put the tweet back up. When you look at what he said, network news about me is negative. 91% of network news about me is negative. Parentheses, fake. If it's negative,
then it's fake.
It's fake.
I got
this
that.
is what I've been saying for more than a year. A lot of us have been saying that's his definition of fake news, anything that he doesn't like. That's actually not the definition of fake.
Right.
I think that he specifically goes after CNN. He's called you a flunky.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
I was gonna say, you're kind of getting off easy.
Honestly, I thought he could have brought it a little bit more than that.
I think so.
I was unimpressed.
But here's the thing. His job approval ratings are going up, and the media's job approval ratings are going down.
Yeah, it's a tough time for the media, and one of the, some of the wounds are self-inflicted when we get stories wrong. That's a problem. But you have the most powerful man in the world, President Trump, attacking us as fake, and a certain percentage of the country believing it. There was a poll a few weeks ago saying 51% of Republican voters, 51% think that the media is the enemy of the American people. Not just that we're liberal or we're biased or whatever, but that we're the enemy of the American people.
He started that.
Also, this started a bit of a trend.
Yeah, well, you do see people abroad, despots and dictators, using the president's language. There was a time that CNN, one of our great reporters, did a story on slavery. I think it was in Libya. And at that same time, President Trump attacked CNN International. The story was completely true and completely awful. And Libyan government officials used President Trump's attack on CNN International to try to discredit the story.
I remember that.
But they started it. I mean, Kellyanne, let's remind people, what's the word? Alternative facts was her little quip. So they started it in this administration, I think. We never heard this before.
People hate the media if you're being covered, right? I mean, I remember when I was on the Straight Talk Express in 1999 and 2000, your dad had issues with the media, but he understood the need for a vigilant media.
Right.
And he would take issues with a story here or there. He never took issue with the need for the Fourth Estate.
Why doesn't he ever give a press conference, Trump? Why do you think?
Because he doesn't want to face questions from people like me and Jim Acosta and others.
Well, but to be fair, there's a concern that reporters aren't just reporting facts anymore, that reporters are editorializing. And you've taken some criticism. You know, people point to your facial expressions, your political cartoons.
This is just my face. I can't... You know that this is just... When I hear unrepentant BS coming my way, I have a... That's just my face.
What do you
Tell them to stop saying those things and my face will go back to normal.
People are using it to say that CNN is biased, that you're biased, that you're editorializing. What do you say to that criticism?
I am absolutely biased against lies. And when there are people lying, I am absolutely 100% against it when people say things that are indecent, and not to invoke Meghan's dad again, but he's somebody that has been a big part of my life. I've been covering him since I was a young reporter. When the president says that John McCain isn't a war hero because he was captured, and I prefer people that weren't captured, that's indecent. That's an indecent thing to say. It's not biased for me to call it that. That's indecent. We revere our service members, and we revere our POWs, and that is just how adults behave.
Well, I will say, I mean, thank you for saying such kind things about my father, and he loved having you we just recently talked about it last weekend, as you know. But I will say that I, like many conservatives, I do think CNN has a bias, but for some reason, I hang out with a lot of conservatives off the record. It's always like, but Jake Tapper understands. Why do you think that you haven't come into that?
I will put aside the part where you're criticizing CNN, because obviously I love CNN and the people I work with there, but I really am not a member of a party. I mean, if I weren't a journalist, if I were a cartoonist or whatever, I would still be an independent. I don't think either party has a premium on good ideas or good people, and I really try to be as agnostic as possible in my private life, too. I'm the jerk at the table who says, well, on the other hand, so, I mean...
I'm that jerk, too.
Are you?
Yeah.
So
Are you?
It can be lonely at the... But I mean, so I honestly feel that way.
Especially with the gun debate. Like, in particular, I was happy that you went after that sheriff, and I was like, someone is seeing both sides of this, which, I don't know. I've known you since I was 12, so maybe I can't be biased anymore, Jake. I don't know.
Well, I thought the sheriff had some tough questions to answer, and that was a horrible situation what happened at Parkland, but the sheriff's department there in Broward County, they had some tough questions.
Well, there was a lot of buzz over your interview with White House aide Kellyanne Conway this weekend. We're going to play a part of it.
Do you think that his job includes lying to the American people? Because he continually does so, and he undermines his own administration when he does so.
Jake, he does many things. You just want that, respectfully, you just want that to go viral. You want to say the word President Trump and lie in the same sentence.
No, I would like him to stop lying. I understand you don't want to talk about the president's credibility.
No, I've already talked about it for 5 minutes.
Do you think there's a credibility crisis in this White House?
No, I don't.
So she accuses you of wanting to go viral with that comment. What did you think of that?
I thought it was interesting that I said that the president tells lies, which I think we all just now accept as a fact. And
6 a day.
And no, it's up. It's up to 9, according to the fact checkers. Right. But she didn't challenge the premise. I said he tells lots of lies, and she says he does many things.
Yeah, that's how they get around it.
He does many things.
Maybe she's better at her job than I thought.
I mean, it's like a defense attorney saying, well, what about all the banks that my client didn't rob?
Yeah.
So,
I like that. Yeah. Right.
The issue is that the president says things that aren't true. He does so all the time. He's undermining himself when he does that, and he's undermining his administration when he does so. I would much prefer to be covering the policy debates, the Iran deal, whether that decision was a good one, what Europeans think about it, what the Israelis think about it. I'd much rather be focused on these policy debates. I don't know one journalist that wouldn't prefer lower ratings but a return to normalcy.
Get rid of commercials. Commercials are the killer. So SNL pokes fun at you.
They do that.
And
which is so
and your
cool,
relationship
by the way.
with the aforementioned...
It is so cool, because I used to sneak downstairs and watch Saturday Night Live as a kid, the original Not Ready for Primetime Plays.
And now you're in it.
And now they're making fun of me.
Let's watch the clip.
We're back with Jake Tapper. Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, says payments made to Michael Cohen's shell company could have been a pay-to-play situation connected to President Trump and possibly even connected to Putin. What do you really know so far?
Well, we know, and it's just been reported in the last day or so, that the Mueller team has interviewed this oligarch, and this oligarch has a company, and the American subsidiary has given Michael Cohen's shady LLC in Delaware hundreds of thousands of dollars, as have other companies, Novartis and AT&T. And the big question is, why? What were they paying for? And what's the explanation? And this is why when people say, is Michael Avenatti on television too much? Maybe he is for some people's taste, but the truth of the matter is this story has legs. Yeah. Something's going on here with this LLC.
It's fascinating.
It's not illegal what happened. So what's the point?
Well, what were they paying for?
Well, that's the question. But they said it's not illegal.
But
so
they don't, how do they know it's not illegal? They don't know what it is. Well, but I know what I'm supposed to ask you.
Okay.
Tell me about the book.
So the book is called The Hellfire Club.
Right.
It's a thriller that takes place in Washington, D.C. in 1954. So the main character is Charlie and Margaret. He's a new congressman, and she is his very strong zoologist wife. They come down to D.C. They get ensnared in a conspiracy, and there are secret societies. And hopefully it's very resonant today, both in terms of the swamp, because believe it or not, it was swampier back in 1954 than it is today, though that might be hard to believe.
Shocking.
And then because of Joe McCarthy and the presence of Joe McCarthy and the questions in the book about how come more people aren't standing up to Joe McCarthy and how come more people aren't calling for truth and decency, questions that we hear today. There are Republicans and Democrats who do so, but not enough, perhaps.
Just quickly, what made you decide that that was going to be the avenue?
Well, I thought that, first of all, it would be fun to write a thriller about Washington, D.C., and it would be fun to do so in a different era, so not everybody was judging everything through today's lens. It could be judged unto its own and have... I just thought it'd be fun also to have like Senator John F. Kennedy and Senator McCarthy and President Eisenhower as characters in a book. But then also there are a few things I've seen in Washington about the swamp, about how people go to Washington to do good, and some of them end up compromising bit by bit until all of a sudden they're up to their neck in swamp water.
That's what's fascinating, the evolution in the book of certain characters.
We've really been watching that.
And we see that. We see it happen to people who are good, and then all of a sudden you look up and they're on television saying something, you're like, what are you doing? Why are you saying that?
I don't care if he lies and he doesn't lie.
Thank you so much, Jake. It's so nice to see you. Our entire audience is going home with his new book, The Outlier.